Hi guys, in the previous video, we see how to generate the self-signed certificate. In this video, we are going to see how to make HTTPS configuration in the Tomcat server. Okay, so let me go to the Tomcat. Okay, so this is going to be my Tomcat folder. So go to the Tomcat folder and go to the Tomcat location in this Tomcat. So if you want to run this Tomcat, I need to go to the bin folder. After going to the bin folder, open the command prompt cmd and make a startup.bat. Once you make the startup.bat, by default, it is running on the 8080 port on the protocol HTTPS. So why? Because the application by default it is in the HTTP protocol configuration. But now our agenda today is to make Tomcat server as a HTTPS protocol, right? So for that purpose, what we required a on JKS file on the password. Okay, what the JKS file contains? JKS file contains the one private key and public key. So public key is a combination of the public key with the certificate, right? So the private key is going to be our end, like for security purpose. Public key we are going to share to the others, like we are going to share the certificate to the others. So now we started the Tomcat. So the Tomcat is running on 9090 and the HTTP protocol. Why? Because we didn't make any changes. First we'll run this one and we'll see the difference. Okay. Our Tomcat is now we are able to run the Tomcat server. So the Tomcat running on the see guys, the Tomcat is running on the HTTP 9090. Okay, let me run the HTTP. So our application running on the HTTP protocol localhost. What is the port? What is the port we are running? So it is running on the 9090. So 9090, right? So now we are able to see the Tomcat homepage. But what is our motto? So now we need to make this HTTP to HTTPS. How we HTTPS, right? Now we are using HTTP. Now we need to make the HTTPS protocol. For making this HTTPS protocol, we need to do the some configurations in the server.xml file. So we need to explicitly configure. So you need to use the HTTPS protocol, okay, instead of the HTTP. That configuration we are going to do in the server.xml file. The server.xml file, it is going to exist on the config file. Okay, go to the Apache Tomcat. In Apache Tomcat, we have the multiple folders. On that, which folder we require? We require the config folder. In this config folder, we are going to have the server.xml file. Open the server.xml file. So once you open the server.xml, by default HTTP protocol enabled. So now what we have to do? We don't require this HTTP protocol, right? Just comment this one. Okay, now we don't require the HTTP protocol, so we commented the HTTP protocol configuration. So what we have to do, we need to enable the HTTPS protocol configuration. See, this is the HTTPS protocol configuration information. So this is the HTTP protocol self-signed certificate configuration details. Okay, by default these are then commented. So what we have to do, we need to make enable. So for making, so further purpose, what is the configuration we need to use? So this is the configuration we are supposed to use to make our Tomcat server as a HTTPS protocol support. So what are the information we are going to mention here? So this is the port. So what is the port? 8443. So let's make it 443. Why? Because 443. So by default, so if you are working with HTTPS protocol, so by default the port is 443. Okay, if it is HTTP, by default port is 80. Okay, so if you're running in the application is Spring Boot, by default the port is 8080. Okay, so now what we have to do here, we need to concentrate on these two factors. One is the key store file. So this is the key store file we generated in the previous video, right? So if you are watching this video first time, so can you please watch the previous videos also? So based on that you will get more clarity how you are doing the configuration here. Okay, this is a key store file we generated in the previous video, and the password we set up for the key store. These things only, guys. So once you done this configuration, so we need to save the file. After saving the file, what we have to do, The Tomcat server is already running, but if the changes need to be reflected in the server, right? So what we have to do, we need to down the server and we need to start it. So maybe start the server. Yeah. See. So now application started. So it is running, guys. So to make the HTTPS, we did with the configuration, right? So what is the configuration we did? So this is the configuration we did for it. So this is a port, guys. By default, HTTPS running on the 443. If you want to change the port, we can change it. Okay. So we'll change that port also. Let me show you. So now you can see application is running on the HTTPS protocol with the 443. Okay. Let me try to the access this one instead of the HTTP. So now we can try to access this one. So what we'll go to, we will get the connection host. Why? Because our application is not, Tomcat is not running under the 9090. It is running under the 443, which is HTTPS protocol, right? So now HTTPS local host. What is the port we are using? 443. So okay, let me check this one. HTTPS, guys. Okay, HTTPS. So HTTPS. So here we enter the wrong URL. So that's why it is showing. So HTTPS protocol. See here, you are able to see the red marks. Why? Because this is a self-signed certificate. So this is a certificate is not valid. Why? Because this is a self-signed certificate. It is not going to be valid. So the self-signed certificate we are not going to use in the production or QA environment. In real time, we are not supposed to use this self-signed certificate. Why? Because so if you are using any certificates that need to be come from the valid store, valid authorities, like we are going to use the GoDaddy certificate like that. So for our test purpose, we created this certificate. Just click this certificate and you can see the common name is the test.java. Okay, you are able to see it. The organization is Shiva and the unit is IT. So this is the information we are able to see it. So you can see the more information here. So see, guys, the so how simple it is. So we are able to run the Tomcat server in the HTTPS protocol. So now we'll do one thing. So you can see the if it is application running on the HTTPS, the default port is 443. So if the default port is 443, it is not mandatory. It is not going to mandate to mention the port. This is enough. So actually, you need to search the application, but with the port also, right? But if it is a default port, the port is not required. Okay, we'll do one thing. So we'll change the port and we'll see the difference. Now I'm going to change the port as 8443. Okay, so now I change the port and I'm going to start the application. Why I'm going to start the application? If you done any configuration changes, the changes need to be applicable to the server, right? So if the changes need to be applicable in the server, that means what we have to do, we need to restart the server. So now I'm going to restart the server. See, now application started completed. So now we try to access the application with the port 8443. Okay. So now see difference. Previously we didn't mention the port. Now without, if you try to access the application without the port, what will it show? So it won't get to the home page. Why? Because 443 is the default port for the HTTPS protocol. That's why you are able to access the application without mentioning the port also. So now this is the URL. This is the URL, right? This is the URL we done. This is the HTTPS. HTTP. Yes. So this is going to be HTTP. But we are able to make our application HTTPS, but instead of the domain, we use the localhost type for accessing the Tomcat. So if we want to access this Tomcat, so if it is the normal valid certificate, you don't need to do anything explicitly. Okay, I mean normal means if it is valid certificate, if you receive from the any certified authorities in your company, so it is not required to do any configuration. But it is the self-signed certificate, right? So if it is self-signed certificate, if you want to access the application by using the domain, the common address which we used while generating the keystore, if you want to use this domain to access the Tomcat, we need to do the some configurations in your system. Okay, then only you can able to access the Tomcat server by using the domain. So if anybody want to see, I mean, if anybody wanted to see how to access the application with the self-signed domain, please comment below. Based on that, I will make the video for that. Okay. So up to now, this is the Tomcat series, guys. Okay. I hope you like my videos. So if you like my content, please subscribe my channel and comment below. If you want to give support to me, please share these videos to your friends. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching.